Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video I want to talk about the features that are unlocked when you hit level 40, and they are, I think, Shieldhall, unit traits, and ranging. Actually, I think Shieldhall unlocks a bit earlier than 40, but I didn't really cover it in detail, so I'll do so now. Shieldhall is essentially very simple. You have shields of each faction, and you get one unlock slot to put a shield in. So when you place the shield of that faction in there, it increases the affinity gain of characters of that faction by 10%, and also you get a 30% chance to get special products of the North when gathering. So in my case, I'm absolutely going to use Shield of Winterfell because two of my characters that I use are from Winterfell, right? I use Champion of Winter, I use Winterfell Rider, and I also started using a bit of the Wolfswood Ranger because he's actually at gold level, which is higher than all my other characters that are available to me. So it only makes sense to use the Shield of Winter in the Shieldhall. To level it up, you can just click on the level part here, and it levels up when your Lord Commander level increases. So you get 2 shield slots at level 2, which you hit when you hit Lord Commander level 55, and presumably more shield slots. So over time, you can have additional shields to hang and get additional bonuses rather than just for the Winterfell characters. So I imagine that for most players, it would be first the Shield of Winterfell region, and then after that, you'll probably do the Riventree Elite region, which I have absolutely no idea what it's called. Riverlands, I think? So that would be how the Shieldhall works. Nice and simple, right? Other than that, the second feature that was unlocked was what I mentioned, unit traits, and it's actually very straightforward. Click on the barracks, click on unit traits. You're able to equip traits on a character, okay? 3 of them. The trait effect only kicks in when you have 3 of the same kind of trait for that character. And finally, the regional trait will only unlock when your character reaches level 50. So that part is not available yet. Okay. So you can see here, for example, for this character, I have 3 of these items, Mark of Balance, and that's why this character gets heal self for 25% of offense when attacked. For this character, Winterfell Rider, he only has 2 items. So as a result, you can see that the trait effect is grayed out. It's not active at this time. And finally, for my third character, which is Riventree Elite, you can see I have 3 of these items. And the trait effect is damage the attacker for 25% of your offense when attacked. No complaints there. So that is pretty much how these ones work. And every single one seems to have a different effect, right? You can equip them pretty much at will based on your characters. And finally, each slot seems to have different items. For example, I click on this slot, I only have 2 items here. This slot, on the other hand, seems to have 4 choices in addition to this 3-star one. And finally, this first slot has 3. So there's an attack slot, a shield slot, and then I guess a person slot, if you will. Finally, these traits can also be upgraded. So if you click on Enhance, you can feed it other items to upgrade an existing one. So for example, if I'm feeding the 1-star ones, it gives you 40 experience. So I'm actually going to need to feed 6 of these to level this up to level 3. Right? So over time, you'll level these up. Last but not least, to get these items, you get them first. Apparently you can craft them in the library, which is unlocked at level 50. And second, you can get them from ranging in Beyond the Wall. Okay. Ranging uses up stamina, important to note. And you can actually do unlimited battles of ranging here, but there's only 2 battles where you'll get a daily reward bonus. So keep that in mind. And finally, the different battles, actually, different days seems to give different parchments, right? So today, for example, I'm on difficulty level 6. It's giving me the parchment of the bear and parchment of the wolf. Yesterday, when I did a whole bunch of battles, I actually got a different parchment. So that's why, in that case, I got the parchment that I currently have equipped on the Raven Tree Elite, right? So I got a whole bunch of these Mark of the Justicars, for example. So, you know, depending on which ones you need, that's what you'll do. And clearly, for example, I will probably want to do a whole bunch of battles today in particular, because Mark of the Bear and Mark of the Wolf seems to increase damage output. So it's very useful, and especially Mark of the Bear. 50% offense as an extra damage when attacking an enemy with health above 50%. So this one in particular will increase the likelihood of your characters one-shotting enemies, right? So you'll pick, I guess, the unit trait that you feel is best for your characters. Alright, so those are the two new feats that are unlocked with the level 40. And other than that, I'm also going to talk about the patch that was released on April 14th, because they had a patch and it changed up a few things. First of all, I think this was actually added yesterday as well, but there's a few more events in legendary events. Okay, not time limited. So the War's Pass seems to give you some shards of Alvar Spire, and then the other event, Sword in the Darkness, seems to give shards of oh my god, Brandon Rivers. There's not too many battles for these ones, right? There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Brandon Rivers, and then Alvar gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well. So not very many battles, but every bit helps, especially if you want to get them up to 4 stars, right? In particular, if I just quickly go into the Alvar Spire, he ends up at around 500 out of 600. So getting those 4 battles in may very well put him into the 4-star range. Okay, so other than that, the other change that this update has made is, actually let me quickly, under Your Watch Begins. That was previously, I think, called the new, the beginners, I forgot what it was previously called. But basically, it's your new players, your first 7 days of playing. You get to grab all these additional free items, right? Well, first of all, they've reorganized it, so now it's tabbed for each day. And second, instead of one ridiculously long list, there's now tabs dealing with each relevant upgrade. So, newcomer, right, finishing the chapters, unit level, getting your units leveled up to a certain level, and hero level, getting your own hero up to a certain level. But they've also added a new unique supplies section. So this section is just, you use your silver stags to purchase items here. And it seems like, on the whole, there's quite a few that are well worth it, but some that may not be worth it. For example, one that can be worth considering is you can unlock the Stormland Brutes and then get shards of him, right? So that you can have another potential soldier to use, right? There's 40 shards here, 60 shards here, a copy of him, and I think there's also some skill. I believe there's also some scrolls of this guy if you want to upgrade his abilities. So that is an option. The problem, of course, is you're using a lot of silver stags. We're looking at 1,200 plus 3,000 plus 4,800 plus 2,400, right? So in total, that is that is how much? It's almost all the silver stags you would have saved up, in other words. Plus 2,400. Let me just calculate this out quickly. Plus 1,200. So in total, for the 4 purchases, you're looking at 11,400 silver stags. That's pretty much exactly what I have on hand right now, and I actually ultimately don't think it's really worth it. Although if you put money in the game, absolutely, by all means, buy it. But otherwise, I think you can get away with using 3 characters, the 3 that are upgraded at the start, and using Wolfswood Ranger for the Direwolf Familiar to act as a tank. All right. So I'm actually going to pick up my daily reward bonus as well. Well, I'll do that in a separate video. So other than that, let's go over quickly the watch begins, the most useful points of this. Right? Because the ones that are well worth buying in the unique supplies. Well, what I've experienced so far is Unit Tomb experience you should be fine on. It's not worth the 200 stags. Hero Tomb XP, probably not worth it either. This one is actually oddly highly priced because it's charging you 600 silver stags for 5 of these Novice Insignias. In other words, each Novice Insignia is costing you 120 silver stags. If you go into the merchant and you're able to purchase one here, it's actually 75. So that one was actually more expensive than the regular price, which is odd. So I would say that one's also a skip, right? And in addition, you start farming up a lot of these too, as I am. So next up is, I believe food is always worth purchasing because the food, right? 200 food is basically 20 runs of a map, right? And 20 runs of a map where you're earning around 15 items per run is giving you 300 of that item. So the food is 100% worth buying, right? In fact, effectively, this buying the food here gets you the same amount of resources as this right here, but for 180 rather than 600. So it would be 180 for 300 items as opposed to 300 silver stags for 300 items. So these two are a little bit pricey compared to the food purchase, and you absolutely want to buy those food purchases. These ones are up to you, whether you feel like you need to rush to upgrade your characters further or you can be patient. Ultimately, 300 items is not a big number of upgrades. Keep that in mind. But also keep in mind that you're buying 100 food for 50, then I think 100 and then 150. So you can kind of calculate that out yourself, whether you feel it's worth buying those ones. Right? For day 3 items, right? I feel the carved glyphs are worth purchasing, but the arena tickets are not. The reason for the carved glyphs to be worth purchasing is because if you normally convert your carved glyphs into, your silver stags into carved glyphs, it's at a rate of 3,000 silver stags for 10. So that particular purchase is giving you 10 carved glyphs for 2,400 silver stags. Worth considering, at the very least. But keep in mind that 10 draws very often don't give you a new character. So if you're just looking to get a brand new character that you don't have, maybe buying the Stormlands Brute may be worth it. For 1,200, it's much lower cost. With that said, once again, like for example, that part is luck based. If you already have the Stormlands Brute unlocked, I don't, but if you do, then you definitely don't want to purchase that one. Moving on. So, carved glyphs, probably worth it. The other ones, the badges of the north, I believe you can just farm them anyway, so you don't need this. And similarly, arena challenge passes, that's very expensive for 10 extra battles. Moving on, I don't think more cheaper carved glyphs, right? More arena challenge passes. And I'm of the opinion that the materials crates definitely not worth it at all. Okay. For 1,000, not worth it. Next, this one gives you tactic cards, right? You have a chance of drawing tactic cards. Not worth it. Okay. Tactic cards, in my opinion, are very common to come by doing the challenge boss fights. So why would you want to even purchase those? Absolutely skip that one. I know in the store they actually do charge you 3,000 silver stags for 10, right? Shifting deck, 10 copies is 3,000 silver stags. It's 100% not worth it. Skip that for sure. And then this one gives you a 4-star card, Balanced Training. The unfortunate thing is I'm not a fan of Balanced Training, right? I just don't think this card is the best option in general, so I'd say skip it. You can purchase, if you do feel like using Balanced Training, right? You can get you can purchase 2 copies of this and then raise the tactic. And then if you have a 3rd copy, you could have a level 2 a balanced training tactics card. Right? Similarly, tactics XP card, skip because it's costly and you get these cards very easily anyways from doing the boss fights. And then day 6, unique supplies wise, this one can give you 3-star general traits. Okay, I feel that this may be well worth purchasing because it's cheap and they're 3-star cards. I'm not sure on this one. The general traits should be the traits that we're talking unit traits here, right? I'm not able to judge on that one at this time because I just haven't done enough fights yet to tell. But with that said, you can see that I already have a 3-star card right now on one of my characters. So I don't think ultimately they're not that uncommon. But I think if you want to advance more quickly, getting some 3-star cards rather than the 1-star ones may be worth it. Especially since they can always be used to feed XP into other cards, right? Worst comes to worst. So that can be well worth considering as well. 800 cost for 10 cards is not exactly a bad deal when each individual battle in particular costs 20 stamina, right? So all that one is very much it's low cost enough that it can be worth considering, is what I mean. At 80 costs. Skip the shifting deck. Wood switch is in my opinion in the same kind of situation as the Stormlands Brood. You know, you're paying 7,200 silver stags to purchase it, which may be a bit pricey when you're gonna get the Wood Witch at 2 stars, compared to already having heroes that you have at 3 or even 4 stars like Alvar potentially. I don't feel like it's worth purchasing Mila and then having to level her up and having to try to find shards of her in general. So that one I feel was too pricey to be worth it. And finally, for the day 7 items, there's more food purchases. Absolutely get them, right? Food is key. There's also more of these traits. I feel that's worth it too. And finally, a 4-star Seal of the North. This one is going to be hard to say, okay? I'm once again, I'm not sure how common these seals are, but they're charging extremely high price for it. So ultimately, I do have 4 more days to decide on this one, so we'll see. I very likely will purchase this one though, because it's a unit trait for Winterfell units, right? And if we take a look at, I am guaranteed to use 2 Winterfell units, most likely. So given that's the case, I probably want to have a 4-star card, which seems to be the highest star level, potentially, that you can have, right? So you're getting 1 in-game item right there. So I think that one is actually worth purchasing. Right? I don't know how, the only unfortunate thing is I don't know how common 4-star items are, so I can't make an informed decision on this purchase. So it'll be pretty much a gamble. So in any case though, I'm actually going to pick up these 3-star traits and just open some of them up, okay, right now. And on the rest, I'll probably hold off for a few days to decide. So let's see. So yes, you get 3-star traits, random ones, right? These ones seems to be the defense ones, because every single one I'm opening right now is, oh no, they're random, totally random. But it's worth it because that way you don't have to use any 1-star cards, or you can reduce the number of 1-star ones you're using right now. I feel for 800, for 800 of your silver stags, it's not a bad deal to advance yourself a few days ahead. Alright. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this information useful. Oh, this is actually different. Mark of the Healer, Mark of the Assassin, whatever. So I'm gonna open up the rest of these, and then I'll take a look at them later and equip them afterwards. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. And on that note, oh, and one last thing, by purchasing all these, I seem to have finished a few quests, right? Because I got additional kinds of unit traits this way. So I'm actually picking up additional rewards here too, which is a nice bonus. Only need 2 more to be finished with the day 7 quests for Trait Collector. And yeah, so that is it for this video. So once more, thanks for watching, and Nitro out.